Back to my YouTube channel, this is Shil Kumar. Friends, we are present for the interview session today. So, friends, let's start now. And firstly, and what's the good name?
My good name is Satyam Kumar.
Satyam Kumar. Satyam, what's your qualification?
I've completed my graduation.
Graduations. Can I ask something question for you
Yeah.
for interview, just like selections? Okay. Can you explain about some of the education system of Bihar?
Yeah, education system of Bihar is not so good, but we can say that is good on the seeing the example of illiteracy rate and that is the Kerala is so top on this, and we are developing so much before the sometimes, and we are developing, and now we are developing also in the education, in the sector of education, in the sector of infrastructure we are developing.
Okay. So, you're talking about Kerala. I understand, but
Yeah.
Bihar is backwards. So, what kinds of provision should be applied here in Bihar?
Yeah, if we talk about Kerala, Kerala is so on top on the illiteracy rate, and why Kerala is so on top?
Okay.
Because Kerala has a good education system. The government is providing all things about which is so important to education. But if we talk about Bihar is not so good in education. But we have to see the example of Kerala. Why Kerala is on the top, and when we will apply the example of Kerala in our state, Bihar, then we will develop also Bihar.
Okay, according to you talking about this, there should be good provision, implementations in the study and education systems. Okay, next question is, nowadays, good communication gaps happening, more communication gaps between parents and children. So what's your opinion about on this?
Yeah, that is good question for me. And why communication gap is happening between parents and children? Because all people have smartphones, and they have all scientific gadgets like computers, laptops. They are indulging so much in this. Okay. So they have no time to spend their time with family, with their children. And if you talk about when they work in their offices, they work like night, day, whole day. If you talk about a pressure, what they have pressure to work in their offices,
Okay.
and so that is thing they want to do time with their children, and in this way they forget about all things, like when they are learning so much in their work, they don't think I'm giving my time to my children, I'm giving my time for my family or not.
Okay, very nice defining that just now. But next question is that why unemployment increasing day by day in India? It's too much.
Yeah, there is I think inflation is main reason, and if I take the example of India, why inflation not in unemployment, why it's so increasing in India. Okay. So first I want to say that education. If we will see the example of education system of India, that is not so good, I think, and it will be so good if we want to remove the unemployment from India, and why this is so increasing in India, and government should be apply different type of vacancies, which is so important to remove unemployment from India, and all person have to work on their, and I believe that if India is a self-reliant country, then it will be so good for unemployment.
Okay, Mr. Satyam, I found that and the statements of people's more they're doing the strikes against the governments, by the privatizations, about that, and these are big issues in India too much. So, what do you want to say about the privatizations?
Yeah, to strike against the rules of government is our right.
Okay.
And we have to strike against the rules of the government, and we have to do, because if we are not able to the rules of government, and we are not supporting the rules of government, so we have to apply our mind why government is doing dictatorship with us. Yes. Okay, and it is given in our constitution. We can strike against the rules of government. And why, if we see the example of privatization, a lot of people don't know about what is privatization, why government is doing this kinds of work in our country. So, and what will happen if all things like railways and all departments of the country will be privatized. So people have also mind, they think what will happen if all departments of India will be privatized. I think when they think this kinds of thing, they think like the departments of that country.
Yeah, understands very well. So really funny, understands. So now you know about very well. Say India is agricultural countries, but we are also going towards the. We talk about this just like scientific gadgets out here, knowledge. So what do you say about this? So why India is not indulging too much in scientific gadgets?
Yeah, because India is so not so developed country. I think if you see the example of America, America is so developed country, and India is. I don't think India is so developed country, and it should be developed because all scientists are going. I think. Not all scientists, because a lot of scientists are going in like a developed states like United States of America, and because they provided a lot of money to them, and they have also patriotic, but they all person are die on money. They go on the greed of money to another country, so they have to think why they are going in other countries. If India is our own land, we have to work on our on land. We don't have to go in other states, because in the way of greed they go and
I think great notes. I think because in our states there is no so much facilities, sources.
Facilities, yeah,
That's also going. Not for the greedness to talk about that, right? Our next question, I'm talking about you're preparing for the BPSC. I think this already something question of that. Okay, what do you want to say about the domestic violence inside the house is happening with the women's?
Yeah, a lot of domestic violence happens in our society, and if you see the example of domestic violence which happens in with women's, and that is so huge, and that is so brutal, which happens with women's in our houses, in our society, in our country. So we have to aware on this of this why this is happening to with women. So we should apply our mind why we are doing violences with against women. So we are so we are living in 21st century, and we are doing these kinds of things like we demand dowry from girl side, and we don't apply our mind why people demand dowry and why other people give. And
okay, second point is this. I found it. You're talking about that only dowries in this causes. I think not. This is also first priority you can see about this. But first priority is the parents also fault here. Right? Parents never think about just like and they are my daughter. Understands? They are also fault, but they blame totally the son. Why?
People of society only think that is the carry, and I am carrying like my children, and like especially girls, they believe they apply their mind like ancient times. If I want to see the example of Sati Pratha, what happened with women with that time, and if I want to say the example of that time, a lot of people's don't want to send their children, especially I'm talking about girls, and a lot of people don't want to send their girl in other cities to study. So they have different type of mentality when they think if I would see my girl to study other countries, other states, other cities, when my girl will be spoiling their life.
Okay, my question there. This is a very important question for you.
Okay.
You know very well the population of India is high on second levels in the world. But most of people, we have good opportunity for the business. Most people who are chasing their jobs. Why?
Okay, India is the second largest country in the population, and why is so increased in India? Why? Because we are not aware in the like these kinds of things, and why? What is our priority about the country? How much we can apply our mind to give taxes like in our country, and what is the value of taxes to develop any country? So, and sorry, I forgot your questions.
Okay, friends, today that's all, and he very thanks what enjoyed the interview sessions. I defined many questions very well, and deeply also he went that. So, friends, today that's all, and thank you for joining us.